Yo, Fellowship is what up? Welcome to the Fellowship Hall with the Twins and Ralph. I am Ralph, aka Big Ham, aka Nose, aka Smart as one in the room, and I'm back with my fellow twins. Twin number one, Keith. Twin number two, Ken. How are the people?
What's up, fellowship? It's your boy Ken, aka the Moral Compass. Thanks for tuning in with us today.
What's up, fellowship? It's Keith, aka the moderator. You know me, I know you. Welcome to the Fellowship Hall. So today we're going to review the movie that is probably on everybody's mind, and we've heard some mixed reactions to it. But it's time for the fellas to give you our reaction, and that movie is going to be Coming to America 2. So let's see what the fellas had to say about Coming to America 2, and we're gonna let the Moral Compass get us started.
Yep. So thanks for the intro, Keith. I thought the movie was entertaining.
Mhm.
It was a good movie. I think it was a good follow up to the sequel. I see Big Ham already throwing shade at me, but I thought it was an entertaining movie. It was what you expected, from the first movie. I know the first movie has kind of become a cult classic because it's super funny. The characters were new. It was so fresh back then when Eddie and Arsenio first did it, and this was, you still got to see many of the same characters. Obviously, it's a sequel, and you're going to see them, but it's not as new and not as fresh as a result of that. But I found the movie to be entertaining. It's one of those movies that you could basically turn your mind off and just watch and laugh. A bunch of comedians, maybe maybe too many celebrities thrown into it. But I didn't have any issue getting through the movie. I laughed at a lot of it. It was I'm always talking about nostalgia in these podcasts. It was a nostalgic movie for us to sit down and look at and see some of the people. It really was crazy to see the two twins, the beatboxing twins, come back at the end for their little cameo. So yeah, I thought it was a entertaining movie. I was happy to see everybody. It was great to see that so many of the characters still survived after all these years. I was disappointed that the mother wasn't in it, and I was surprised not to see her. And then later on, I went and looked up, and actually she passed away many years ago. Actually, which is something that happens, but you still miss her because she was a one of the staple characters in the movie. So yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a good movie. I thought they probably had a few too many celebrities in it, and it wasn't as fresh as it was the first time, but it couldn't have been. But I enjoyed it. I didn't have any issues getting through it rather.
Big Ham, chime in.
All right, man. First of all, let's just get a couple things out the way. First thing is this. The first movie was a classic. And really and truly, you probably never should be doing a sequel anyway. And if you're going to do a sequel, you probably should have did it like 1 to 2 years afterwards rather than wait this long. It's like, with Friday. You know how they did the Friday? Friday was a classic movie, but they came right back with next Friday so you can handle it, and then they kept it going. But so it's been so long. So that was the first thing. The second thing was, bro, I ain't never been so nervous to watch a movie in my life because
Elaborate.
the first one was so great. It's such an iconic movie. So much nostalgia there. Legendary. A lot of us probably know the movie from front to back. And I was so nervous because I did not want it to suck. Like, I did not want the sequel to suck. We knew the sequels are, it's hard to hold up to the first one. I was just nervous. I was like, man, I did not want the sequel to suck. And it didn't suck to me. It did not. I enjoyed it. It was a pleasurable watch. It was a nostalgic watch, like the Moral Compass said. I like the way they threw back to the last movie and the last, at times,
Yeah. Flashbacks.
Even though it was kind of, junky how they tried to justify him having a son. They just it didn't fit, but they still tied it together pretty well in the end. They made it also almost be a twin to the first one, where where he had the arranged marriage he was supposed to have.
Right.
And then he went and fell in love on his own. So that was there. It was some good performances throughout. The barbershop guys is always the highlights to me.
Yeah.
It's always the highlights to me. There were people talking about, man, they just need to do a movie with just the barbershop guys. You know what I'm saying? But Eddie and Arsenio both saying
Arsenio.
like they can't get the makeup. Like they have to do makeup for 6 hours
Mhm.
Wow.
to get into those characters. So they say it's just too much. If they'd be in makeup for 6 hours, then they got to go and work. So they say it just be too much to try to do a movie with just them. But those guys were hilarious back then, and they still hilarious. Like the first time I heard, we said, "Boy, they were the AS." I just, I rewound it 3 times. My wife got married, so I keep rewinding it. It's just funny. It reminded me of somebody from Senatobia, like barbershop. So, but yeah, uh, they were funny. It was some nostalgic pieces. It was cool to see them braid queens to Zamunda. You
Mhm.
got the McDowells and Zamunda. I was laughing at the scene where the where the daughter tried to get the vegan vegetarian burger in the McDonald's. I was laughing at that. It was some funny moments. It was a lot of nostalgia, but I thought it held up pretty well. I mean, the petty pre Del Firo was a trip to me. I
Mhm.
was laughing at that, but I thought I was just excited and happy that it did suck, which I was so worried about. It
Okay.
did suck. It was entertaining. I was entertained, and I was satisfied with it. A lot of people was expecting a second coming to America. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I was
Right.
satisfied with it.
Okay, fellas, good reaction from both of you, obviously. And I basically agree. I won't waste too much time with my reaction, but I basically agree with you guys. It was a good movie. It was entertaining. I will admit that I didn't laugh as much as I thought I might. And but I did laugh. Actually, I laughed at one scene out loud, and that was the only time I truly remember laughing. Was when Arsenio said that he's like a dark skinned woman. He wanted so dark that he need a flashlight when he with her and stuff. And that was the only time I really laughed out loud. But it was a good movie. It was it was entertaining. I thought it was a little cliche though, and I'll tell you why. It was cliche because how many movies have we saw in the past where they start out I hate you, and then a few things happen, and then I like you, and then you family or whatever. And then one thing that I really hated about the movie, which I hate that I hated it, was when the prince was named Lavelle.
Yeah,
When
yeah. Lavelle Johnson of Queens.
Yeah, when Lavelle heard Akeem talking to Wesley Snipes' character, and it's always that, oh, I overhear something that was an initial plan but has now since changed, but I'm hearing it for the first time, so I still think it's that initial plan, and I hate when movies do that, and that's exactly what they did. So I'm not trying to nitpick or anything. I just told you two of the things that I thought was kind of cliche, and then that overhearing some conversation of a previous mindset I don't care for. But other than that, I thought it was an entertaining movie. It had a lot of nostalgia, like Ken said. The barbershop guys, the singer, the preacher, all that stuff brought back memories of the original movie, which is what it was supposed to do. But the original movie was fresh. This movie
Exactly.
was like, okay, yeah, I remember him. It was funnier then, but I like it now. So that's what it was. But again, I thought it was a good movie. It had a lot of fresh stuff in it. It's good to see people like McDowell, the dad, and Ken mentioned the mother wasn't in there, and obviously she passed away. But her scene with her performance in the movie was powerful at the time, so I did miss her. And then they kind of explained it, but they never explained the sister. They never explained
Right.
why the queen's sister wasn't in the movie, because I was looking for her too. So that was just something that I missed from the original movie, because her and Saki was Saki, is that right? What was his name? Suki?
LaSalle.
No. Arsenio character.
Timmy.
Simi.
Simi.
Sorry. Her and Simi had her thinking that he was the prince and all that stuff. So I missed that whole exchange. But yeah, I thought it was a good movie. It was entertaining. It didn't disappoint, like Ralph said. It wasn't like so bad that
Right.
it wasn't a sequel that was so bad, but it still could have been a little bit better in my opinion. But I like it. I would watch it. I would watch it again. Maybe if I was folding clothes or something. But it was decent.
Hey,
So
real quick though, real quick. Sorry, Keith. Regarding the barbershop guys, they were the only ones who didn't age because those guys looked identical.
Look the
I mean,
same.
yeah,
except for the third one. The third one looked a little older, but as
yeah, he
far as
was.
He was the real guy.
Yeah, he
right,
was
as
real.
far
Yeah,
as Eddie's and Arsenio's characters, they pretty much stayed the same. And
yeah.
just I like we've all pretty much said the same thing. It was a good movie. It was the cast that we wanted to see. The
Hmm.
production value of the movie was very well done. But it was kind of a cliche story. It was predictable as to that the daughter was going to eventually be named the heir. One thing that my wife and I talked about a lot throughout the movie was that Lavelle, what's his name, Lavelle Johnson. Um,
Mhm.
a DNA test was never taken. There was never a reason to confirm that this guy was the king's son. It was basically the vision and the
Yeah,
illustrated picture. I guess that was enough for
that
them, but
was enough.
they never really thought that. So when he was doing his last test, the test of courage, I thought they were going to actually do a DNA test, which would have really been tied it together, but they didn't. They did the little cut scene or whatever. But
Hmm.
it was like you guys said, it was good. I think they probably had too many celebrities in there, but I thought it wasn't a bad movie for sure.
No, it's good. And one thing I forgot to mention that I'll mention, or two things actually. One was one thing that I saw in the movie that maybe some eagle eye fellowshipper also caught. So if you caught it, let us know. If you didn't catch it, then give me my props for catching it. When Eddie went back, Hakeem went back to McDowell's in Zamunda to, I guess, mop the floor or whatever. The mop was clearly dry, even though it was a wet patch on the floor. When he was moving the mop around, there was no wetness happening. So the mop was clearly dry, and I could see that immediately. And so that was one thing that they missed. And the one thing that probably was the most overpowering to me was I was like, okay, it's clear that Lavelle is in love with this hairstylist barber girl. Um, if she's at this party, then that's bad writing to me because she has no reason to be at that party. If she's not doing anybody's hair, then she has no reason to be at that party. That's how I feel because it's not like the people that attend to the king and queen and whatever. Like the bath girls weren't at that party, so why is the barber at that party? That was my thought. What you
We
guys
don't
think
know
about
if the
that?
bad
We don't
girls
know.
were not there.
Right, we don't know. They focused on her because she was the interest of Lavelle. I think that's all. So I think
Yeah.
they could have been there. I mean, Zamunda is a progressive country. Just because there are people that do manual labor doesn't necessarily mean they're considered lower class. So I'm
Okay.
gonna give them props and say that the bad girls were there. They were just at a table that was a little bit further away.
Okay. All right. Well, then you know what? I'll back off that a little bit, but the mop was dry. Okay, fellowship. Okay, fellowship. Let us know what you think or what your reaction were to the movie and how you liked it and some of the things you did like and some of the things you didn't like and the nostalgia, obviously. So our next segment we're gonna do is I think we've done this in the past for some movies or maybe even a TV show, but for this coming to America, we want to give the MVP or our MVP of the movie. So we're gonna let Big Ham kick it off with his MVP of the movie, and go ahead and explain specifically what you mean by MVP of the movie.
I just thought, the performance that I just thought just kind of made the movie for me. Just kind of stuck out to me in their performance. And I'm gonna say Wesley Snipes' performance as a general just stuck out to me. It was just funny, man. I mean, like it was the more comes to care for it. But he was just funny to me, man. Like just the way he walked, the way he would always walk in and make his entrances and everything. It was cracking me up. And like you said, Keith, I wasn't laughing at a lot of stuff, but I found myself laughing at him. Um, I thought he was able to play both a comedic villain pretty well. I thought because he was able to be funny, but then he was able to like kind of raise that heightened threat level uh, of what was going on as far as like, man, you need to find this son of yours, and you need to marry this daughter or else. So I thought he did both, but I just maybe I was just like anticipating too much, but I was kind of pleased with his performance. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
thought it was for me it was between him and Leslie Jones who kind of like stuck out in the movie that you weren't expecting to see? Yeah.
Okay. Usually we don't do this on the Fellowship Hall, but I'm gonna do it. I thought Wesley's character was okay, but it definitely wasn't an MVP. It wasn't even an honorable mention in my book. And Leslie Jones, even though I love her as a comedian and on Saturday Night Live, and the stuff she does, but I thought that the movie would have been just as good, or at least the same, if her character wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, you. I think you're right on that. It's just that their performance was just most interesting to me. I guess because they were fresh characters. It might
Yeah,
be what it was.
I
That they
like
were
that.
fresh characters.
I'm okay with it. I just don't didn't have it on my list. Ken, go ahead with your MVP.
Yeah, so apparently Keith's not gonna like what I'm about to say because I am in full agreement with Big Ham. Obviously not on Wesley Snipe, but on Leslie Jones.
What
I
really?
thought Leslie
Yeah,
Jones' character was a funny character in the movie. Granted, pretty much whatever she does is always the same character: overpowering, loud, oversexed.
yeah,
But that's what she is,
ghetto.
and that's what she's good at. Ghetto. That's what
Hilarious.
she's
Yeah.
good at, and that's what I really enjoy. And Rab hit the nail on the head. He said that they're fresh characters, and don't get me wrong. It's obviously Arsenio and Eddie Murphy are gonna be the top tier performers in the movie. But Leslie Jones just adds that craziness that you expect and anticipate from her, and she didn't disappoint. She didn't necessarily do anything that was super hilarious in this movie, but she's always there saying something uncomfortable or something, just
Yeah,
you always got that aunt or that uncle that basically says whatever they want to say on their mind, and are not apologetic and don't care about it. Like, you like, why do you
yeah,
why these mashed potatoes black? To me, that's just something funny to say. And she would just ask those questions, and that's why I liked Leslie Jones playing Mary Johnson. It wasn't like you said, it might not have been a great acting debut or anything like that, but to me, her being on there was just that added freshness that you like, because I am a huge Tracy Morgan fan, but
Hmm.
Tracy did absolutely nothing for me
Nothing.
in this
Yeah.
movie.
Agreed.
His character was not even needed in this movie, in my opinion. Wesley character kind of wasn't needed to me, but I'd rather have gotten rid of the Tracy character over the Wesley character. So Leslie Jones, she did it for me in this movie. She kind of kept me interested and entertained, because I was always wondering what silly thing is she going to do. And that's what I'll say about that.
Okay.
She was my MVP.
Okay. I mean, I'm not mad at that. I think I assume some of the fellowshippers will probably, gravitate to Eddie and Arsenio because but they're iconic from the first movie. Not to say that their performance in this movie didn't live up to that type of expectation, because I really thought Arsenio had some of the best scenes to me, from the joke that I told you about in my reaction was the only part that I truly laughed out loud because it caught me off guard. But a lot of stuff, I was kind of expecting. But they both played their great characters. So I appreciate you both coming up with somebody different from the main two stars, which is probably kind of a lot of people favorites. But I'm gonna join you guys on this and not pick Eddie or Arsenio and pick a new character, a fresh character. And my MVP for the movie was, even though she didn't get like a whole bunch of screen time, I think she got a decent amount. And my MVP was Princess Mika, which was Eddie's oldest daughter. I felt like that she was a strong character for this movie. And it was, we're in a progressive world, as we should be, or actually maybe we should have never had to go to this progressive world, because we always should have been this type of world. But nevertheless, I liked her character. I thought she was strong. She was a fighter. She spoke for herself to the king. He silenced her and she had to abide, but she at least gave her opinion, or challenged him to the level that she felt was respectable to challenge him. I didn't like, and this goes back to my reaction about that. I hate you, but I love you, or I like you, where she was immediately opposed to Lavelle, because again, it wasn't Lavelle's fault,
Right, it wasn't his fault.
but she came around later, which was the cliche part that I mentioned. But still, she was my MVP of the movie. How she stood up against Wesley's general character, even more so than her dad did, and I was happy at the end, but I kind of expected that, she would be the queen of Zamunda as expected. So yeah, that was my MVP, Princess Mika, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I'm good with Princess Mika. She was a good character also. Um, one thing that I got to say is we're always talking about Power. Power is one of the shows that we love so much.
Yeah,
But I thought them having Dre as the general's son was a waste. You know what I mean? It was a terrible waste because
terrible.
he added nothing to the movie. He was almost to be comic relief for being unwanted by Mika.
Yeah.
So they had so many characters on her, and they I mean, it was cool that they were able to get so many recognizable people, but it more so was a waste than an add to the movie.
Ken, I'm glad you brought that up because being the big Power fans that we are, we know that we were going to recognize our boy Dre, or our hated boy Dre, and it was good. But one thing that I did not like in the movie, and that just could be me, but was Wesley Snipes' sister from the first movie. Like, she didn't have a line in the movie. All she did was bark
Mark.
and hop. And it was fun in the first movie, but I thought that they didn't have to do it like that in this movie, honestly. So I mean, it is what it is. It's a carryover joke or whatever, but I still felt that they could have let her have some more of a dialogue. But it is what it is. So that was one thing I did think about.
Yeah.
Okay, Rab, you got any other thoughts on the MVPs that
I
we
don't have
all know?
anything else to add, man. Y'all pretty much knocked it out.
Okay. All right, fellowship. You know what time it is. It's time for us to rate the movie. And you know how we do it. We don't give stars, we give plates. And our plates are from a fellowship hall. Growing up in church, we had chicken plates, and that's what we do. So, if somebody made some good sides and you grab your main dish, or it was the chicken, so we have chicken plates, and that's how we rate our movies. So we're gonna let Big Ham go first, and give us his rating on Coming to America plate style.
Um, so I'm just gonna go 3 plates, 3 chicken plates for Coming to America.
Yeah.
Uh, like I said, it was solid, entertaining. It held my attention late at night.
Hmm.
It held my attention. It wasn't as funny as the first, but I had some moments where I did laugh. The nostalgia was really good. The way
Yeah.
they tied the first story into this one was good. But as far as, like you said, it was cliche. It was predictable. It followed along a path that we all kind of seen it was going. So it wasn't a great, well written movie. It was entertaining. It served its purpose for what it was. So just 3 chicken plates is what I get.
Okay. So Ken, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and give my rating. And
Go ahead.
I would agree with Big Ham about it being an entertaining movie. It wasn't the best writing in the world, but it wasn't the worst writing. I feel like the people that love the first movie probably could make probably help make this movie a little bit more predictable, because we were so entertained and enthralled in the first movie that we watched it so many times that we picked up on things that maybe we wouldn't have picked up on if we hadn't watched it more than once. So I thought this movie was good. It was a lot of predictable stuff in it, at least for me as a fan of this now series. And it was some cliche moments too. But I'm gonna also give this 3 chicken plates was my rating for Coming to America. Ken, finish us out with your plates.
Yep, it's no reason for me to prolong it either, guys. I am in lockstep agreement with you guys. I think it was a good movie. It was a movie that entertained you. It wasn't a classic, I don't think, but it was a movie that I could watch again if nothing else was on for specific scenes or something like that. So I too am going to give it 3 fish plates, not chicken, but I'll give it fish plates. And I think this is the first time we've ever come to a full agreement on a movie rating. And
Yeah.
what better than a movie that's been iconic from our childhood, and they did a remake of that we didn't have any issues with. So I'm giving it 3 fish plates to round it out.
All right, all right. Well, thank you both Ralph and Ken for those ratings and the review all together, I guess. So, fellowship, we won't hold you up anymore. This was Coming to America from the fellowship hall, and we let you know what the fellas thought. Ralph and Ken, if y'all don't mind, I'll go ahead and close it out.
Go for it.
Thank you for joining. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe. and then go to the comments and let us know what you thought. Let us know what you liked and didn't like. And let us know what let us know what you really thought about this movie, because we have social media out there, and people are on both sides of the fence saying they liked it or they didn't like it. They thought it was this or they thought it was that. And now you just got what the Fellowship Hall thought it was. So as a fellowshipper, you make sure you let us know. Subscribe, comment, like, whatever. You can follow us on YouTube at the Fellowship Hall. You can also follow Raf Big Ham on Facebook at Raphael Hammond, or you can also follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Hamdog22. Make sure you come back and enjoy a meal with us in the Fellowship Hall. Be blessed, fellowshippers.
Be blessed.
Be blessed, guys.